Good evening, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from or where you're um, logging in from. And warm welcome to the GUBA Diaspora Network, GDN SEAT. Okay, my name is Jennifer Djan-Krofa. I'm your host for this evening. I lead an organization called the GUBA Diaspora Network, which supports the diasporan community. So if you are based in the US, if you are based in Canada, in the Caribbean, South America, Europe, Australasia, any part of Asia, anywhere in the world, and you would like to engage, connect, do business, or invest in Ghana or Africa as a whole, let's not just restrict it to Ghana, but Africa as a whole, we are the organization out there to support you and your needs. So we have a community of diasporans from all over the world. We've got some based in Ghana, some based in Africa, others who are on the journey of reintegrating back to Africa, others who are okay where they are and would like to eventually move back to Africa. And we've got others that are just happy in whatever country they are, but they are also supporting Africa or doing business and investing in countries like Ghana and other African countries with whatever ways and means they can. So the GUBA Diaspora Network is part of the GUBA Enterprise, which is a larger brand, and it's an organization dedicated to supporting the diasporan community. So when we say supporting the diasporan community, we do lots of things. We do lots of things. So we celebrate, we recognize, we acknowledge people's achievement and some of the great things that they are doing. We have the GUBA Awards. And the GUBA Awards this year, please note it in your diaries if you haven't already. It's happening this year on the 5th of November, and we are going back to UK. Okay, we're going back to UK. The GUBA Awards has been in the UK for many, many years. From 2019, we branched out. We went to the US. We came to Ghana. Last year we were in Rwanda. Okay, and this year we're actually going back to the UK. So we celebrate people that have made an impact in their contributions to the African continent, as well as those who are doing really well within their professions, within their business, within their organizations, wherever they are. It's all about raising the flag of Africa and being proud and celebrating, it's all about unity. I mean, GUBA stands for Grow, Unite and Build Africa. So everything that we can do that collates, that brings people together, brings a community together, is what we stand for in GUBA. Hi, good evening, Honorin. Well, welcome. So tonight, we have two lovely ladies, beautiful ladies. I call them my sisters. Beautiful ladies that are just powerful. When I talk about powerful, like capital P, powerful women. And they are doing great things in their own right. And it's so beautiful to be able to come together to celebrate, to give people the platform to share some of the good and great things that they're doing, and looking forward to some of the things that are yet to come. We're all on a journey. Some of us are kind of sitting on the fence, not sure, should I move? Should I engage with Africa? Should I do this? Some of us are just kind of looking and peeping and seeing all the other stuff that's going on, but not sure if they should take the leap. Others just want to sit quietly and just listen and hear, and that's okay. Whatever stance you are, whatever stage you are at with your engagement in Africa, it's fine, because it's a personal decision, and we all move at different stages in life, so it's fine. We've got some people that literally just took the plunge. We've got a member, bless him, and I do hope to have him on this show in the near future. He had a party yesterday. He had a party because he's moving to the motherland, and he's so excited. But in another session, I will try and make sure that he comes on to share his story. But today we've got two beautiful, beautiful, beautiful women that are going to talk about what they are doing, okay? Why they are engaging with Ghana or Africa, and what's driving them, what's keeping them going. You know, we realize that Ghana, there's the pros and the cons. Things may not always be easy, but we keep moving, and that's the main thing. Okay, so in a moment, if you could just let me know where you are signing on from. Okay, everyone's kind of scattered in different parts of the world, but it's nice that we can all come together Yes, I'm back. I'm back. Can you guys hear me? Oh my gosh. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Oh gosh. Yes, I'm back. Apologies. Wow. The devil is a liar. I mean, ladies, we had all the prep. We went behind scenes. Oh gosh. But anyway, thank you. Hi guys. Sorry. We're back. We're back. How is everyone? Excellent. You know what? Without further ado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce my lovely panelists so that they can share their stories and we can get rolling because we've already wasted a couple of minutes anyway. So first on the panel, okay. Hi guys. So first on the panel, we have a lovely lady from Atlanta, USA. Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and she's just amazing. I mean, I can't sing enough praises for this lady. She's humble, she's beautiful, she's a go-getter. She's you know what? I think I'm gonna stop talking because I'm gonna fluster. I'm gonna just invite the lovely Coriya Burns on to our panel, and she's just gonna just blow your minds away. She's a beautiful lady inside and out, doing great things, loving Africa, loving what she does, and very passionate. Coriya, thank you very much for joining me on today's session. And oh gosh, I think I'm a bit nervous now because it's like I don't know what happened. I saw messages. I was talking, and then before you know, I was somewhere. But anyway, we're back, and we're gonna move on. So thank you once again for joining. How are you today?
I am well, and this just means it's going to be phenomenal. That's all. That's all that means.
Hey. Definitely. So Coriya, welcome to the show. It's always lovely engaging with you. I know we've had a lot of engagement in the past. We've spoken several times. We're doing lots of different projects together. But tell everyone who you are. Who is Coriya Burns?
Oh, wow. So my name is Coriya, as she said, and from 9 to 5, and I always introduce myself this way, from 9 to 5, I'm a general sales manager for Radio One in Atlanta. We have 4 stations here in Atlanta: Magic 107.5, 97.5, the home of Steve Harvey in the mornings. We have Classics 102.9, where we have Ricky Smiley in the mornings and our midday queen, Nisi Shaw, in the afternoons, as well as D.O. Hughley. Then we have Hot 107.9, that is our hip hop station. And then we have Praise 102.5, of which I am also a part-time on-air personality. And on that station, we have Erica Campbell and Griff in the mornings. And I forgot to mention that just starting today, I started a brand new feature on Classics 102.9 called Know to Grow, because from 5 to 9, that's my 9 to 5, but from 5 to 9, I am a mindset and life coach. And I help women with abandoned goals reclaim passion for those goals so they can live life without regrets. So that's who I am, the goal digger coach and reboot specialist and general manager by day, general sales manager. Uh-oh, am I speaking something into existence? We got you muted, Jen. There you go.
There you go. I love it. I love the goal digger.
Yes.
The gold digger. Tell me about that. How did that start? Where did that come from? What does it mean?
Thank you for asking. And let me clarify that that is gold digger, GOAL, not
Yes.
GOLD, gold
Yes.
digger. So for the past 10 and a half years, I've been doing I have a movement. That's what I'm going to call it, called Faith Board. And its event, Faith Board Experience. And a faith board is a faith-based twist on a vision board. And it is all about not gluing these nice, pretty pictures to a board, but really praying and asking God ahead of time, what is it that you would have me to do? And then having the faith that it's going to happen. And in that way, I say that it is fail proof. I have a book by the same name. So that's really where the goal digger coach came from, because I was doing this event and people's goals were getting checked off the list. And Jen, I didn't want to coach. That's not what I wanted to do. I stumbled into it and people kept saying, coach my life. I was like, I can't do that. But I was already doing it. I was being used in a phenomenal way.
Mm,
So I think it was one of the young ladies start saying, you're the goal coach. And I said, how
mm,
about goal digger? And then I saw how women were rebooting their lives and reclaiming passion for their goals. So goal digger coach and reboot specialist was born from all of that.
yeah, that's a testimony in itself.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it kind of changes the narrative. You know, we hear gold digger, you
Hmm.
know, often, but there's a purpose behind gold digging. You know, you've got a purpose, you've got a mission, and it's a more positive narrative rather than, you know, gold digging, whatever that kind of means.
Yes.
Definitely. So what brought you to Africa? What brought you to Ghana? What brought you to yeah, what you here today?
Absolutely. So I have a good friend, Philanice West, who knows my love of travel. I also have a hashtag Go Travel Chick because if anybody knows me that's on this line, they know that I love, love, love to travel. And she said, sit on this panel. And actually, Denta was moderating the panel. And it was all about media and entertainment. And there was this room full of people in Ghana that I didn't know. We were talking about media and entertainment. And I was like, how can we do more? And they said,
Yeah.
well, you should come. You should come to Ghana. Panafest is getting ready to happen. So I packed my bags, I booked a ticket, and I came to Ghana within like 30 days after that panel. And I have to tell you that I absolutely fell in love with everything,
Wow.
everything about Ghana, and
Excellent.
got a chance to meet Denta. And as you know, Denta is like the billboard, the walking billboard for Ghana, right? But honestly, I came that first trip, and I believe that was 2 years ago, July, August. It was just about 2 years ago. Since then, I've been 7 times in 2 years.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Getting
Yes.
ready to do the eighth. Like, when is it? In September. I'm bringing 17 people to Ghana in September.
Mm,
So talk about, just taking something and running with it. And if I can be
mhm.
real transparent for a couple seconds, I've been to Europe several times. I've been very blessed to go to islands in the Caribbean. But when
Mm.
I came to Ghana, it meant something
The levels were different.
so different. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a humbling experience. I mean, do not get me wrong. We know Ghana's not, plain sailing, as they say. There's bumps, hills, ditches, mountains, all kinds of things that we need to kind of go through just to get things done. But the overall consensus is that it's liberating. Yeah, I mean, it has its moments, but there are certain things that draw people to the country, and that's why people are constantly coming back and
Yes.
constantly wanting to find ways of engaging. Um, and that's beautiful. I mean, you've highlighted that you've been to Ghana since the last 2 years. You've been to Ghana like 8 times or so, and you're bringing a group of people
Yes.
to Ghana. And I'm sure you've kind of gone back to Atlanta each time after every trip, and talked about your experiences and the kind of things that you're doing. And I think it's also an opportunity for other people that may not necessarily have been able to come to Ghana or wanted to come just yet, but through the engagement with you and understanding a bit more of what the realities are like in Ghana, they've also decided to come and join the group and actually experience Ghana itself. So how was that in terms of getting people on board? How was the whole process of getting a group together?
A lot easier than I thought.
Okay.
I every time I go to Ghana, if I go live, people are like, I want to go next time. Take me next time. And I'm like, sure, right?
Mm,
And one of those trips, I just said, okay. And I think I came to your office and I was
yeah.
like, damn, we just need to put this together. Let's put it together.
Mm,
And I think I started out and I was like, oh, maybe 5 or 6 people. Then the
mhm.
next thing I know was 7 or 8 people. Then it was 12. And then it was 50. I was
Yes.
like, okay, wait, let's pump
Good.
our brakes a little bit. And then
Yeah.
before we knew it, it was 17 people joining me in Ghana next month for my birthday that I'm
Yeah.
so excited about. And let me just do this shameless plug. GUBA Listen, GUBA takes all of the pressure off of me because they have put together the most amazing experience for everyone that's
Wow.
coming to me next month. And I'm just excited about it. I can't
But
wait to experience it.
you know what, Coriya, you're one of these people that you're so easy to work with as well. I mean, you're on it, you're reachable, you know, and it just made things easy, I think, for both of us and for, you know, for both individuals and participants, because it was smooth sailing, literally. And I think that's what's making it work. And I think we as an organization were also really excited and looking forward to your group coming, because you guys are not just coming and doing the usual sightseeing and tours. You're also giving back and getting
Yes.
involved in some of the projects. So talk about what you're also doing in that regard as well.
So that was very important to me, you know, when we started putting together the agenda, and it is jam packed. The agenda, for those that are going, I see Ashley Lester is on the live today. She's actually going to be joining us.
Hey,
It was a
Ashley.
pretty packed, yeah, it was a pretty packed schedule. But I went back again, went to Jen's office. We sat on the couch downstairs and I said, Jen, how can we work in a give back? Like, I can't, there's no way I can bring all of these people to Ghana and we not give back. So we will be visiting Rafiki Village, and there's a project that if I got to do it on my own to restore a library, I'll be doing that. But I will tell you that on every trip, I try to do something. And I really do that because when Denta allowed me to go to former President John Kafour's house, and I had a question for him. Everybody got to ask him one question. I said, "What can I do? What can I do when I come to Ghana?" And he thought about it for a minute, Jen, and he said, "You know what? Don't just come here and be basically a bump on the log. Don't just come here and do nothing. Yes, it's wonderful to come here and vacation, but find something to do. Get out and talk to people. Figure out a way that you can use your skills and your talent to give back." So that was very important for me. So being able to take them to a place when we get to Ghana in September so that we can give back is huge for me. And then something that I'm going to do, like I said, on my own for my birthday and restoring a library, that's very important to me. Those words have stuck with me.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think it's beautiful, and I mean, it's even more powerful hearing that your passion and your desire to give back, because there is a lot that lots of people can bring, lots of people can do, you know, as well as the big investments, as well as the setting up your business, as well as, you know, helping with whatever development in whatever way we can. But there's also a lot that we can do to help the community.
Yes.
And for me, I'm very passionate about us making sure that we are engaging with the community and supporting each other in lots of different ways. I think it's just beautiful. Thank you so much, Coriya. Thank you. I'm also going to bring our next panelist. Okay, Coriya, we haven't finished with you. There's more I'm gonna speak to you about, but I'm just gonna bring on Vanessa Jackson-Cole. Okay, who is Vanessa is an award-winning interior architect. She's very passionate about her profession. She's set up an organization or business in UK as well as in Ghana. She's a young, strong, powerful, beautiful lady that's got lots to offer, lots to give, and very, very dedicated to making sure that she delivers the best at all times. So Vanessa, welcome to the GDN seat. Yes, you are on the hot seat. You've been dodging, but here you are, your opportunity to share your story and share your journey. And I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining me tonight. You have a remarkable story. because as we know, as we were talking even behind scenes, we know the climate in Ghana, we know the terrain, and women trying to achieve certain things may not always be as easy, but you seem to have reached certain heights. So welcome once again. So tell us, who is Vanessa Jackson-Cole?
Well, thank you for having me, Jen, of course. So Vanessa Jackson-Krofa, as you did say, I am an interior architect and designer. I've been in the industry a little over 5 years, still adjusting to the Ghana heat, but nonetheless, I specialize more so in renovation, interior styling, and I guess developments. And that's kind of what's brought me over to Ghana over the last 5 years, I would say. Can you hear me, Jen?
Yes, sorry. I'm here. You've turned off your camera.
My camera just kind of stopped briefly. Bear with me, guys. I hope you can still hear me while we're still trying to work on the camera. Sorry about that.
Yes. And actually, Vanessa, I mean, you said that you've kind of been engaging with Ghana for the past 5 years or so. What brought you to Ghana? Why? What made you kind of uproot UK and decide to transition completely to Ghana?
Honestly, I think you mentioned at the beginning of your intro that there are people that kind of just dropped in head first. I kind of had one of those ones during the peak of COVID, okay? I think I've shared this before, but I'll tell it again. I had finished a project in England, COVID has hit, and I needed a break, okay? So I thought, oh, let's come home for once, not to work, let's have a holiday. And unfortunately for me, I bumped into an old client who then was like, no, we need to get started on a particular project. Because interior architecture I found in Ghana is almost rare to find. So it's quite a small group of people that understand the profession and what it is that we provide and essentially have a bit of experience with the brand or the company, I should say. And I mean, I've been fortunate. As I said, I kind of fell in head first. I mean, I was coming and going initially by client request, but I would say the true challenge was moving over 2021 to start a project and actually deciding that, you know what, I think I can do this. I can be here for a while and contribute because it's a blank canvas. It's look, there's a lot of opportunities. No, it's not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park at all, but it is worth it. I think Ghana has a lot of potential. Some of us know the history, those of us that don't. I mean, we all know Ghana was one of the first African countries to gain its independence. We have a great history to us. There's a lot of diasporans moving back home or contributing to the country, as well as local Ghanaians helping to shape the country. And one of the things that I think I personally have enjoyed by moving here is learning a bit more about my culture, especially being born in England and getting the first-hand experience of what the Ashanti culture is, or the Ga culture, or the Fanti culture, understanding the customs, even learning some of the patterns and the fabrics that we have here locally. So like I said, it's been an exciting one, but it hasn't come without its challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that, it's all about resilience as well. We just keep going. Because as you rightly said, there are challenges, there are things that hold us back. But let me kind of delve into the fact that you are a female in possibly a male-dominated industry. How have you found your place in that regard, and how have you found engaging with Ghana in that regard? And were you welcomed with open arms, amidst all the various architectural firms out there, or was it a bit of a challenge in that regard as well?
I would be honest, I wouldn't say I've had a challenge in terms of working with other firms or anything like that. I think, to be very honest, I put God first in everything, so nothing in life comes without its challenges. I don't try to use the woman card to hinder me, probably why I have a lot more people kind of in, in shock that someone my age has actually kind of gone full throttle in Ghana, because there's work to be done. There's a need for the service. There's a requirement for the service. I'm not really paying it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been some men that definitely feel challenged by a woman being head of a project or leading a project, but it's no skin off my nose, honestly. I think part of it's the culture. I remember about maybe 12 years ago, you'd come to Ghana and see them advertising on TV to educate the girl child. To be very honest, I know a lot of young women that approach me on the regular, like, how can we get into your industry? Can we work with you? And it's actually something that I'm hoping that once I'm more settled and understand the system a bit more, I can provide maybe some internships, maybe join forces with some educational bodies and provide, some of my knowledge to the young talent. Because I would say, I'm not going to say that my industry is meant to be male dominated. I think, I'm so sorry about the background noise. I do feel as though we just haven't allowed women to kind of explore their options fully as much in Ghana. Okay, I think my camera is playing up on me, guys, so bear with me.
No worries. No worries. So in your engagement with Ghana, what would you say have been some of the lessons learned? So say, for example, if you were to maybe speak to your younger self, or if you were to engage with other people that would like to come to Ghana and do some of the things that you were doing, what would you say to them, or what would be your kind of key advice to them?
Oh, my younger self would never believe that I'm sitting in Ghana, I'll tell you that much. So we definitely wouldn't be having a conversation with my younger self. But I'd say this. I had the luxury of two devoted parents who wanted to make sure that we understood our culture. All three of us were born in London, but our parents made it a point to teach us the local language. So we learned Tree and Ga. But I'll put it this much. One thing I adored about my father is my father raised me not to look at the color of my skin, not to look at my the fact that I'm a woman. It was more so, what is your calling? What is your purpose? And to follow through without, of course, stepping on other people's feet. If I was to give anyone advice right now, I know that life as we know it right now has changed. We've all had struggles. Some of us are still coming out of those struggles. But I definitely will tell you that anything in life worth having does come with challenges. Sometimes, there was obviously designers before me that created my passion. I got to witness my parents coming back to Ghana and, building family homes. And I always used to be excited to go to site with my dad or help mum pick colors and put mirrors here and so on and so forth. But generally, I was actually going to go down the fashion route. And then, you know how God works. He shifted me into architecture and interior architecture. So I would say to, especially African kids, where I think there's still a bit of a frown on being creative, especially on the artistic side. There are so many avenues now, the tech industries, the graphic industries, the CGI, architecture, interior design. Even if you're just an artist in terms of fine art, abstract, you name it, I am an advocate for following through with your passion. Always follow your heart and your passion. I've never known anyone to follow their heart and their passion and fail. So that would be my little bit of advice to
I guess that's what leads you, isn't it? That's what drives you. That's your motivator.
Absolutely.
And even in the midst of, what thing, as they say, when things fall apart, or, there's that like mustard seed that keeps you going. And we all need that drive. We all need that passion. Who would you say have been your biggest cheerleaders in supporting you on your journey?
Oh, wow. Okay. I would say my team, of course. My family, being directly my mother, my father, my sisters. Of course, people that I network, friends, previous clients, even previous employees. I would say I have a healthy support system. I would say I have a healthy, I have days where I'm literally like, oh my God, I just want to go back to England. I think, Jen, you and I have had conversations where I'm like, okay, I'm
Sometimes I
ready.
miss
And
good
I'm telling
old certain things. Yeah.
God will literally use anyone to keep you in place to fulfill, you know, his calling on you. So for me, I would 100% say I'm grateful for the immediate support that I have, the friends, the previous clients, the team. It's not easy, but I think everyone needs that support, and I'm grateful for all of them, including yourself, Jen.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, as a professional within the architectural space, the interior design space, interior architect space. I mean, for me, as you know, if you want to call it a layperson, that's not really in that field. I look around Ghana. I mean, you know, every time I travel and I come back, it feels like there's a new project, there's a new development, there's something coming up, you know, and I get excited just as somebody seeing all the changes and developments that are happening in Ghana. You know, we've had different people from different African countries talk about some of the great architectural structures that are coming up in Ghana. What's your take on how Ghana's landscape is developing, the structures, the infrastructure, you know, all of that's happening to help build and develop the country? What's your take? Are we moving too fast? Is it?
Look, I will give two sides of the coin. I'm extremely proud of how far Ghana is developing in terms of construction. However, we do know that there is a housing crisis in Ghana. I think one of the things I've struggled with is, or one of the things I'm trying to shape my firm to do is to go into development and provide housing that can be affordable to everyone. I think right now, especially in Accra, most of the infrastructure definitely does target the diasporans who can afford it. But the locals, unfortunately, not everyone is in the position to jump onto the property ladder. And I do sometimes wish that the government and developers maybe can come together, you know, as we see in England with L&Q, Berkeley, and so on and so forth. I do sometimes wish that we would come together a bit more and provide incentives that can be beneficial to everybody and not just target we the diasporans. I think it's one of the reasons why I came home. Like you rightfully said, I am relatively young. I've witnessed a lot of families lose their land to what seems to be the most popular thing now, which is the joint ventures. Partly because some people aren't well educated enough to understand what it is that they're getting themselves into. A lot of people have focused on the infrastructure in Ghana on just money, quick money, you know, quick turnaround.
Yeah, that quick money.
A lot of people are not looking at the longevity or even thinking of, okay, I'm buying this land from an 80-year-old man. What about his children or his grandkids or his great grandkids? And I do think it's partly because, like I said, the government needs to join forces with the developers, those that are developing and build, because there are a lot of, look, there are beautiful buildings, Jen, but we have to be sincere. A majority of them are empty. A majority of them are empty.
Yes, that's something I always wonder why. Yeah.
It's not because there aren't a demand for it, it's because unfortunately they're excessively priced. And I'm speaking from a professional background. I'm not trying to condemn anybody. I've seen some of the prices that have come out on projects, and I'm just like, it is either you're not going to the right suppliers, or unfortunately, with the way the economy is going and the dollar's forever going up, it is affecting the industry a lot. There are a lot of half-completed projects. There's a lot of developers figuring out, you know, how they're even going to move their shipments. And sometimes when I come in and I'm trying to educate them on how we can avoid some of these problems, this is where the woman thing comes in. This is where it's a bit like, okay, I don't really know if I want to take an instruction from a young woman, for one, and then B, I mean, some people tend to think they can do a better job than the professional. So it's sometimes navigating around it. But like I said, Ghana's a blank canvas. Ghana's developing. I do encourage you to definitely invest, but do your homework first. That I'm not going to sit here and be biased and be like, oh my God, it's amazing. No, we have a lot of work to do in the industry, and it does need to be addressed. It does.
Yeah. I mean, you've touched on something, and you touched on the fact that you're a young person or younger person in your industry, and Ghana is very much about culture, traditions, respecting elders, and all of that. And yes, so rightly so, because that, I guess that's one draw. We love it. We love the respect that we place on certain things. But I guess also within the professional, side, how that works and how people take to receiving orders from a younger person. How have you found that over the years?
Honestly, it is still a challenge that I'm navigating now. But I try not to make it a focal point. Like I said, I think one of the things I've tried to adapt to is always finding another angle to approach things. I've definitely not let my race or my age ever be a challenge from as young as I can remember. And I don't intend to make it a challenge either now. I think that's what kind of would intimidate a few people in Ghana, because usually whoever's in charge is in charge. So when you come in and you're a bit, like, no, I think we should do it this way, and you're quite stern on it, they kind of take it personal, but it's rather, no, I'm trying to work with you so we can achieve the best results. We want to make sure that you get the best results of what you're paying my company to deliver, or we want to make sure that we deliver the best results to the clientele that you're trying to attract. And I think it will take some time. It will take some navigation. Again, it's really dependent on the individuals. I've had some amazing clients. I've worked with some amazing developers who have been a breath of fresh air. I've had clients that have been a little bit more difficult to understand, but I think God definitely prepared me for that. Because I've always come from a tough background. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but my first job was working at the Hilton Hotel as a 16-year-old, right? So automatically you had to be professional and, not get starstruck if you see some sort of celebrity. A lot of people with wealth are stuck in their own way. They prefer a certain type of service and they come with their demands. So I think over the years, of course, from there, I ended up working for Harrods as an interior designer. I thought that was a highlight of my career. And I think those were where most of my ability to have a thicker skin came from, because you have to understand what the consumer wants. You can't take things personal or be sensitive to people's reactions. Don't forget, look, I've always looked at people's homes and their spaces as their identity, right? And the moment you're stepping into that client's shell, you are essentially trying to design for them. So of course, there are people that may get upset that you chose a color that they might think, oh my God, that's a nightmare. And you just have to work with or try to understand them. It's almost like being a therapist. I've said this a few times, people think it's silly, but you generally sometimes have to be a therapist with your clients, get them to understand, or you have to almost
think outside the box.
Exactly, sit in their skin. It's almost like you're stepping into them to get what they're trying to achieve, what they want to spend, and then at the same time kind of advise them what might be best without offending them. Let's not forget that. So I think, especially in the Ghanaian market, I've definitely had to learn, what they would say, manners. You don't use your left, you don't speak over people, those things. So I mean, genuinely,
that's a deal breaker, isn't it? You go and shake somebody's hand with your left hand. Whatever the case. All the goodness that you said to them prior to that is gone out the window.
Everything will be out the window. So let's not forget that one. But yeah, like I said, I don't focus on my age, me being a woman. Sometimes I'll be so honest with you. Sometimes I get a kick out of it.
Hey, madam.
No, because I've had some hilarious situations where I've had some male team members that just try to be difficult, and then in the end we become best friends, and it's like, look at that, look at that. So
what was that for?
It comes with the territory. It comes with it. It comes with it.
Definitely. I mean, I think there's two last comments before I want to bring Coriya back on. And I know that things are changing. I mean, this is just something for me. And I don't even know if you'll be able to answer these questions, but I just don't. Okay. I wouldn't say it's a pet hate. It's not a pet hate. It is what it is. I know back in the day, you know, we've all got houses like that, grandfather's, grandma's house. We've got all the colors in the world in that one bathroom. Like, we've got tiles that I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm just like, I can't even use that toilet because I just can't deal with the colors and the combinations and I'm like, what was going on? I think sometimes is it that literally, you know, I don't know. But hopefully, and I'm seeing the kind of transition. I'm seeing the you know, development over the years to more sort of like plain or simple colors and lighter, softer colors being used in houses. Yeah.
Look, I'll put it like this, and I'm going to be very patriotic here. The Ghanaian flag is very colorful. Okay, we've got our red, we've got our gold, we've got our green. All right. We as Africans love color, okay?
Color.
And where I'm coming from, let me make you laugh. When I initially came to Ghana, of course, because coming from England, our formal wear is black, navy, grey, which I'm sure you can attest to. When I initially came to Ghana, I would wear black because obviously black is slimming, it's, you know, professional. And I would constantly get people saying, who died? Who died? Who died? I'm like, nobody died. Black is just a powerful color. But I say this to say, Ghana and everywhere else in the world, design is just like fashion. Fashion repeats itself, design repeats itself. The only difference is materials change, so our way of life changes. So Ghana definitely, I think one of the things I would love for architects and other designers to start adapting to is definitely create your own identity. I personally think that we are relying too much on the Western architecture that doesn't necessarily work in the Ghanaian climate. I mean, it's one of the things I've tried to be informative on. Look, we have trends that come into play and it affects the industry everywhere. And that's probably why you're seeing some crazy colors somewhere, but it's also because of
it's the tiles.
I mean, we use tiles in Ghana, you know, to be honest, I personally don't recommend using tiles in Ghana, but it's been something that we've been using for a while, especially because of slip and stuff and accidents and, you know, little details like that. But we're still adjusting in Ghana, so a lot has to be adapted to. We're still, you know, we're still growing, we're still maturing, we're still introducing into the industry. I know I certainly am, and I'm excited to see how people welcome it. So eventually,
I'm excited too. I'm excited about the next steps. I'm excited about the next 5-10 years time. I mean, I just think that, you know, Ghana, I know it's already kind of blowing up, but I think it's going to be, you know, a lot's going to be happening.
I think
in
it'll be unrecognizable. I think our skyline, if we really plan well, I think Accra and onwards, we've got a gem as a country. Honestly, we do. And I think we need to work together. When I say we, I mean, okay, I'll touch on this. One of the challenges I find is there's a lot more respect for engineers in Ghana than there are architects. I've seen architects be heavily underpaid in comparison to the engineers. And it's partly because some people prefer to use a draftsman. And then when everything's said and done and the structures are built, there comes some challenges. That could be from tiles, that could be from lighting, that could be from ventilation. But I think if we start creating, especially like the Ghana Association of Architecture, if they start creating awareness of why you need to get everybody to working together simultaneously, I think it would kind of alleviate some of the difficulties that we find, especially when diasporans are coming home and we generally want to buy, and it's something as minuscule as I don't like the way this window is crooked or so on. And we seem like we're nitpicking, but essentially
it's important.
Yeah.
I mean, time and time again, you hear people complaining. I mean, there was a scenario. A friend of mine, she lives in the UK. She had a tiled drive area, and unfortunately, something must have fallen on the tiled drive area. So she told the guys, or the guys looking after the house, to just make sure that they get the same tiles again, and they kind of repair it. And what do? They went and got all the tiny little pieces and literally pieced it together like a big old mosaic. And when she came, she was like, she couldn't take it. Like, but I mean, and the thing is that they didn't see the issue. At the end of the day, they've got the tiles, and the drive is retiled, but it just looked completely out of sync from the whole drive. But at the same time, they complain that she's causing an issue, she's making a fuss.
Yes. I think I've had a lot of clients end up coming to me after the fact. They've had someone design something, they've started construction, and then halfway through they realize that they're not getting what they promised. I've had clients come to me and express that they're buying a property of plan, and maybe whatever was expressed as the finish in terms of luxuries and what they're getting, and they would ask us to come in and help them with the finishing. I've seen, I think one of the worst experiences I personally had, I got a bit sensitive with that one, was I had a lady who was buying a property off plan. She was told within 24 months it'll be complete. And let's just say, one, that didn't happen. Two, her taps that were meant to be steel were not. She ended up burning herself on one occasion. It became a court case. And I mean, she obviously approached me to, I guess, professionally give my opinion. And I just had to play a neutral party because, look, I'll be very honest with you. I hate to play the race card, but I have to say this. A lot of Africans have felt as though they have to compete with the West. And one of the things that I would love and actually try to incorporate in my work here in Ghana is getting local talent. What I mean by that is Ghana has a lot of raw materials. You can get a bespoke bed made here without having to go and order a luxury bed. Even if it's from IKEA in England, you might get a cheaper deal and a better quality getting your carpenter, maybe with some chaperoning, to build it for you. And that's one of the things that I tend to do. It's probably why you will never find any of my projects looking identical. I will go out my way to, maybe my client says, Vanessa, I want a beautiful art piece. I might get a lovely, a young, talented artist here in Ghana. And I've done so, actually. I actually have an award-winning project where a young artist did a beautiful piece for my client's dining area, and it's still there till today, 7 years down the line. And I say this to say, we don't always have to rely on the Western world. We'll be surprised how much more we can, create here. I mean, one of my intentions is, to show people exactly how we can, adapt to what we have here in Ghana. I've done projects where I've used our local intuma, their dinkra. What's the, their dinkra, like the natural fabrics, the Ghanaian cloths that the women wear, basically like almost like what you're wearing. I've used them in cushions, I've used them in stools, and there's just different ways that we can use our local resources that would actually interest the Western world to actually come and manufacture here in Africa.
Yes.
Again, I'll take it back to fashion. Stella McCartney, once upon a time, if I'm not wrong, she made a dress out of, we have an African print called Nkrumah pencil. It comes in variant colors, right? And she made a dress, Jen, a single dress, couture. And she charged, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, don't. I know.
500.
I know what you're coming to say, sis. I know. It brings tears to my eyes.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was impressed, but my jaw was definitely on the floor because I sat down and I said, this is one of the problems that we have. We as
Yeah.
Africans have a lot of resources, right?
Yeah.
But we're not
Yeah.
tapping into it. Somebody like listen, my dad would tell you I was trouble. Okay. I was the kid that would dismantle things and put it back together.
You don't need to tell me, Vanessa.
I dismantle things, put it back together. So I've always been in that creative space. You give me a mirror, I will turn it into the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. You give me a piece of fabric, I'll turn it into a cushion, a pillow, you name it. And I do think we need to encourage those, because look, correct me if I'm wrong, Ghana once upon a time used to be a manufacturing country, right? Suddenly we are reliant on the Western world. We're shipping everything, including food. Almost to say we don't have the land to have furniture factories or glass blowing factories or recycle plants making outdoor furniture even. Like we have the land, we have the resources, we've got trees, we've got timber, we've got teak. Like the list goes on. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to ramble on, but we genuinely just need to adapt and appreciate what we have, utilize what we have before we start trying to compete
with
elsewhere.
others.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Something I've always stood for, and I think I'll always stand for.
And I think it's important. I mean, the whole appreciating who we are, what we have, the beauty, and actually placing value on it, so much so that we're not going to let people just come and take and do whatever they want to do with it. I mean, I know that me verbalizing it and saying it is, is one part of the scenario. I know that, certain things go beyond us as individuals, but it's also valuing and loving what we have and who we are. I mean, Coriya, I brought you back on the panel. Thank you for joining once again. I just wanted to find out from yourself, what would you say? So this is for you, Coriya, and also guys listening in the chat, or if you're sending me WhatsApp messages, or if you're sending messages on Facebook, please put out your questions. I think now is the time to actually ask our panelists a bit more questions about who they are, what they're doing, any queries that you may have, any issues that you may have that these guys may be able to advise you on. But in particular for Coriya, if you were to do things differently, what would you advise in terms of people that would like to, set up projects in Ghana? How would you advise people? What would you say were the key things that maybe you should have done differently if you wanted to engage with Ghana, or understood better, or what would you advise others in terms of wanting to connect with Ghana just like you did?
That's a great question. The first thing, I spent way too much time thinking about what I could do differently than what I was already doing. I have a skill, I have knowledge, I have expertise, I have something that I can already lend. But I'll be honest, I got to Ghana and the first thing I thought was, how can I leave the United States and get to Ghana? How can I just drop everything I'm doing and figure out how to have some type of online business? And already had my coaching business, and I thought maybe I'll put my foot on the gas with that. But that was selfish. And I now realize that that was selfish, because you've got these kids at GIJ, and I see Kelvin on. Thank you for taking me to GIJ.
Yes, Kelvin.
Yes. Who can use what I have. And all they want is a conversation. All they want to know is what I know. And the very question that you asked me, what would I do differently? So I think sometimes we are just so excited to do what we want to do. It's going back to that faith-filled thing that I talked about earlier, as opposed to pausing and just saying, okay, Lord, what is it that you would have me to do with what I already have? How can I use what's already in the house? I don't want to start preaching, but I'm just saying, how can I use what's already in the house without going outside the house, right? And trying to find something to do. You've blessed me with what I have. So I'm very grateful that I didn't walk away from radio. I can say that now. And I really have to owe a lot of thanks to a friend of mine in Ghana. I'm glad that I didn't walk away, because there's still some things that I can learn and then transfer that knowledge,
Yeah.
and transfer that expertise,
Yeah.
and still come to Ghana and still love it and still bring groups of people there and expose them to it.
Yeah, it's true. No, I mean, I think, and I think both yourself and Vanessa have touched on this. I think it's also about sharing what you have, sharing your skills, sharing your knowledge, and finding ways of, of teaching others. I mean, sometimes teaching might not come in a structured form and, lesson, classroom, group sitting in front of you. It may come in the way you do certain things, the way you behave or respond to a scenario. I know that various examples are sometimes when I'm sitting in an Uber and I'm speaking to my driver because he's so angry or upset because some car has cut him up, and he wants to kind of speed up to get back, and I'm like, listen, let him go, but madam, and I'm like, listen, your life is more important. I'm not in any rush, you understand? Just kind of taking a different approach, because if you're not careful, you kind of get stuck in that rut and just focus on whatever that's not even important to the whole scenario. The main thing is that you get to your destination safely. Forget about what the driver did, forget about whatever. Just and those kind of conversations, without having that interaction in an aggressive or derogatory way, can get people to start to see reason, hopefully, and do things slightly differently to what they might have normally done. I mean, it's also about attitudes and our understanding of what's really important and what's not, because honestly, if you're not careful in Ghana, you can get so bogged down on some of the things that, to be honest, are not really important as in the whole scheme of things. Vanessa, you got something in your hands. What are you showing up?
Yes, first of all, the heat's my AC's kind of backed up on me at the moment, so the heat's catching up to me slowly, guys, so bear with me. I think someone's popped up a question, haven't they?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I was dreading someone asking me this question, but yeah.
So Nanette is asking, Vanessa, how do you work with contractors that do their own thing, even though you told them exactly what you want them to do? I will repeat. How do you work with contractors that do their own thing, even though you've told them exactly what you want?
Okay, Nanette, that's a really good question, but I'm going to be so honest. I think some would say, should I say this? I have a very innocent face. However, I know how to run my site.
Hey, innocent. Hey, innocent.
I mean, I'm unassuming, okay? I think I'll put it like this. Like I said earlier, Ghana is very male-dominated. You want to try and have your team or the contractors understand that we're in this together. It's not, I'm your boss, do as I say. It's definitely, I need your help to deliver my design, right? If we can get this done properly, there's more business to come. Now, the one thing I love about my Ghanaians is they are hardworking. If you give them reason to think that there's more to come and they can grow from it, trust me, they can be a breath of fresh air. You will have to chaperone, as I've always said, you will do some babysitting, you will have to stand over a few shoulders every now and again. But again, it's about teamwork, okay? You bicker with your brothers and sisters, but you come together and you work together. So whenever I'm on site, whenever I have a project, I pick my team diligently. Don't get me wrong, I have had some difficult contractors in the past. And what I have done in the past is I have allowed the client to understand that, look, we need to work together to deliver those timelines. And if your contract, especially when it tends to happen when the client wants to work with their own contractor, who maybe has worked with the client longer than you have, and they look at you as the newer entity. So in those scenarios, I will sit down with the client and express whatever grievances I have. I will express how I've tried to maybe work with said contractor. And if it doesn't work, the client will obviously understand the fact that, look, if you don't have your architect on board, I guarantee you your project will come to a standstill. So it's either we all come to one accord, or we have a sitting duck, essentially. So it's generally about teamwork. You have to learn how to communicate with people. The emotional maturity that you will need to have to be in Ghana is off the Richter scale. Trust me on that one. Patience. You will learn patience in Ghana. Oh, you will.
Thank you. We've got a question, and I believe it's for Coriya. Okay, so in regards to you putting a group together, okay, we've already got one group coming to Ghana in September, and we're all excited. It's going to be fab. It's going to be a great time. And so we've got this person asking about putting more groups together, or more group trips to Ghana.
Well, Jim probably knows this question has already come up. I don't know how many times. I kind of stumbled into this, but it looks like I'm going to have to, right? So I'm going to say yes for right now, definitely. I wanted to get past September, but Jim, we may need to already have a trip put together by the time I get there. Right. But absolutely. I mean, my goal is really to expose as many people as possible to Ghana, as many people as I can, because it's only going to take you one time. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this. Somebody told me from the time you step off the plane and somebody says Akwaba, you are going to just be connected, right? So, and it was true. It was absolutely true. I was in tears as I was leaving the first time. And each trip gets better and better and better after I've had my few days to sleep and to rest, because don't go to Ghana trying to rush anything. I'm going to tell you that right now, right?
Ghana will teach you a lesson.
Yes, it will. You down. But to answer your question, yes, Jen and I will work on that immediately. Yes.
Soon come. Thank you. Okay, so Vanessa, we've got a gentleman in black. Hi, Vanessa. Hello, Vanessa. I'd like to know how I can find reliable workmen or contractors for my project. What's the best way of sourcing? Reliable. I think reliable is the operative word here. Reliable. Yeah.
I think Steve has actually asked a question that's actually one of my challenges. So for me, I tend to retain my subcontractors. So being on the GUBA Diaspora Network, what I tend to do is when they have clients such as yourself, Steve, I don't know if you liaise with them, but when they have clients such as yourself that are seeking assistance with a project in any way, shape or form, I usually would essentially give you a consultation to understand what it is that you're looking for. And then I might recommend, because if I'm being completely sincere, I'm not sure where you're writing from, Steve, but in England, I can literally use a lot of platforms such as House, Bark, and other platforms such as SBID or BID, SBID being the Society of British Interior Design, or BID, British Interior Design Institution, where they would give you credible designers. My firm is listed on there as well as other ones. But like I said, Ghana is still heavily developing. There are a number of contractors here. I'm not going to list anyone because unfortunately the ones that you do see their signs everywhere and anywhere, I personally have not used them, so I cannot recommend them to you. But what I would say to you, Steve, is you first of all understand what it is that you're trying to, build. If the project's already live, then I would say your best bet will be to speak to your architect or your engineer. They might be the best person to find those contractors for you, purely because A, the design is coming from the architect, the engineering is coming from the engineer, and they might have the right personnel to work with for you. In terms of reliability, Steve, in this Ghana, in this Accra.
Hey. What's your word now?
Look, I'm always going to be an honest book. I don't believe in pouring in sugar because then that's just selling a lie. But look, everybody works to their own pace, okay? I have my own tricks and trays that I use with my team that works beautifully. Some would say Madame bribes us, but it's not necessarily bribery. Let me just put it out like this. One of the things my team love me for is your breakfast and your lunch will always be provided, okay? Because I never want to come to site. Look, I'm very particular. I would never want to come to site and see Kwame chilling in the corner with his towel wrapped around his head, listening to Coriya on the phone. No, that would have me blow a fuse. So I would make sure. So when I come in and you're like, oh, madam, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but you know, we have no chop. Okay, so I will make sure that you have your breakfast. I'll make sure that you have your lunch on me. I'll pay for it. Then when they're working happy. So look, sometimes the project managers are sometimes the problem and not so much the artisans or the contractors specifically. So once again, I would recommend speaking to your architect, speaking to your engineer, and seeing what they recommend. I would also say that when they do recommend, please do your due diligence. If you can go and see some of their work physically, do so. If they have a portfolio, look at it. I would say 100% do your research before you just say, oh, my architect said, so I'm running with it. It's the best advice I could give you.
Thank you. Okay, ladies, we're going to start rounding up. I think it's been a great session. Time has just flown by with the few little hiccups that we had at the beginning. But just, you know, one or two golden nuggets. I call these things golden nuggets. What are they? Takeaways that you would give to people that are, you know, still, you know, we've got a lot of people out there kind of looking, watching all these videos, listening to all of these conversations, you know, just seeing what's on the ground, but they're not quite sure, or they're a bit skeptical, or they're not quite sure that, you know, if they go, they're going to be successful. What kind of tips would you say, or would you give to anyone wanting to do projects in Ghana or simply engage with Ghana? What are your lessons learned, and what would you advise others? So maybe two from each of you.
They're going to think that you paid me for this, but really it's not. You need to join GUBA Diaspora Network.
Oh yeah, I didn't pay her, by the way, but yeah.
Yes, you did. And if you go back and you look on their Instagram, you'll see that I said this a long time ago. It has been one of the best investments I've ever made. Because had it not been for them, one, slowing me down just a little bit, y'all, I'm telling you, I would have been gone, you know, probably working at a smoothie shop or something in Ghana to try to make a living. I would have been out of here. But honestly, find you a trusted community of people, seriously. And I have to say that GDN has been that for me. And not just GDN, but look at the people I'm meeting, Vanessa, you know, and all of these people. Now I have somebody else that I can call when I go to Ghana. I feel like it. Hopefully I can call you, Vanessa.
Yes,
I feel like I have. Yes. Somebody else I can trust. They really, they make the process easy, and they take what you know, they take and put you exactly where you need to be. So find your trusted group of people, get in an organization, and take your time. Take your time.
Thank you. I think that's brilliant. Now, Vanessa, you go ahead.
Words out my mouth. Okay, I think I would say, and I'd always put this first. Put God first in everything. Okay. Put God first in everything. You're unsure about something, say a prayer. It doesn't matter if it's a minute long, a second long. Seek Him first, okay? I cannot stress this enough. You cannot step into anything blindly. But if you lead with God, you have a lot more success rate. I'll start there. And then my second golden nugget will be, and I don't mean this in a negative way, this is something that I personally have struggled with and I'm trying to adapt to. I do feel like there is an influx of people thinking that because Ghana lacks a bit of regulations, we have people just thinking, I'm just going to move. And I've seen a lot of people do that. And unfortunately, it didn't go so well. And they've had to go back and they leave with
And bitterness and
Yes.
frustration. Yeah.
Honestly, and I would have to say part of it is because if you're coming to Ghana, I'm sure you ladies can agree with me. I've heard this over and over and over again. It's who you know. So again, I wasn't paid either. I guarantee you that. I would also recommending joining a community. If you can join the GUBA network, please do. 100% do. It gives you access to a lot of people, myself, Jen. As I said, it's a huge network, okay? Denta is a breath of fresh air. She'll give you the resources if you need it. Speak to people. I think Ghanaians as a people in general are welcoming. But if you come in here and do the, I know my rights and I know everything, darling, sweetheart, you are
the
going
biggest
to
slap in the face.
Disappointment.
Yeah.
So community,
Yeah.
God first, okay? That would be my two nuggets.
Yeah.
I think, and I've had even this afternoon, I had a conversation with somebody, and in a funny way and in a strange way, and I don't really know how to put this, but Ghana can actually be lonely. If you don't have the right sort of like community network of people around you that, you know, even when you've had a frustrating scenario, somebody that you can engage with that will understand where you're coming from as well, and you know, just be that sounding board for you. And it's important to have those people around you, or have people that you can call in that regards, just to kind of help you through those scenarios. And to be honest, sometimes it's just about listening to each other, allowing somebody just to, you know, have that 5-minute rant, and then they feel better. They feel better and they're ready to take over the world again. But if you don't have that, it kind of just builds up, and the frustration, and, you know, as in my role, what I do, you know, there's lots of people I've engaged with that are just like, I'm done with Ghana, you know, I can't take it anymore, and they just want to go back. I've had people in tears, you know, tears, literally. And you know, it's all about supporting each other in whatever way or means that we can. And if it's a community, if it's, you know, going out for a chat or for a drink with somebody, let's do it. But again, all of that relies on the way we connect with each other, and it's important to keep going. Definitely. But ladies, thank you so much. It's been a great session, and you know, there's some comments that have just been coming left, right, and centre, and people are really appreciating the kind of conversation and engagement that we're having. Sometimes it's not even about, you know, focusing on a particular topic, but just talking in general and sharing each other's experiences. And you don't realize how much you are impacting those that you are sharing your story with. And, you know, I just thank God for your lives. I thank God for what you guys are doing, and just, you know, hope and pray that it continues, and that, you know, we're here. You know, we're here to support, we're here to guide you, and engage with you as best as we can. But once again, thank you all very much. And Coriya, look forward to seeing you in the next couple of weeks, right? It's not even months anymore, it's weeks. And when you guys are here, Vanessa, we're going to hook up. I'm going to get some of the other people together. We got to have a party or something going on. But it will be great. It will be great. Thank you so much, ladies. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Enjoy. We're back again next week. Oh gosh, next month. I think it's like the 4th. Monday, the 4th of September. We're back. If you would like to be on the GDN SEAT, contact us, info@GUBADiasporaNetwork.com, or reach out to us on our mobile at, oh gosh, what is it again? Oh, 024 515 6705. But either way, reach out to us, even if not by that, on social media at GUBA Diaspora Network. Okay, take care, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh.